in could. So, so correcting machine, what is a correcting machine?
But those kids, and they also go out, especially college, and they have a very abusive language which they use amongst each other. It doesn't mean they're going to write that in the examination paper. And so, your brain can draw a line that this is for friends, boss, this is for books, and this is for... We compartmentalize a lot. And we don't use that language. And if we start using that language, imagine what would happen. Now, second thing I was saying that, I think what has happened is Hindustani logon ka English pe haq बढ़ गया है. Suddenly we are seeing more right on the language. It's like, till such time you're wearing a jeans as something which has come from the West, you would not do embroidery on it. The moment you start doing embroidery on it and start wearing it the way you want, I think you've started accepting it. I think we are living in times, it's very different, Mark, than the earlier times. Today, people are, using English the way they want. There is a comfort level. There are many, many reasons for it. There are economic reasons for it. The fact there are reasons that Western dominance is not that much today. You can see our people doing well, so there is a confidence that why can't my language be spoken in a certain way? But there is a sense of right which people have, which has given birth to the emergence of something like Hinglish. It's like today avocado is something which we don't think is ours. But if you start making avocado pakoras, it will be ours. So I think there is a change there, and a language like this will emerge. Another thing is that whenever there have always been hierarchy in languages, society creates that hierarchy. You always want two languages. Even if English becomes the language of everyone, there will be a Puritan, there will be a more elite English which will emerge. This is English of people. I was just thinking, will it be possible that tomorrow a prime minister address the nation in English? Yes, it will be possible. I'm telling you it will be possible, but that English would be hierarchically different. Because this is a human nature to create hierarchy. When there was Sanskrit, it was not the language of the common people. When it was French and there was English, there were two different languages. There was Urdu, the court language, and there are the dialects which used to coexist with it. So it's human nature to divide languages and create a hierarchy. We do it all the time.
Well, there's a Queen's English dictionary by Baljinder Mahal published in the UK. But you say English is our language, we have a right on it. Do we really? Why does Mulayam Singh Yadav then say we don't need English? Why is it still a political issue?
Well, I can understand why Mulayam Singh says we don't need English. And I have some sympathy with him in some ways on this. Because it seems to me that the whole danger with English is that it was once described as a killer language. And the threat is that India will kill Indian languages or undermine them. And that is what Mulayam Singh is talking about. I hope that's not true. And I certainly think that artificial ways of stopping people speaking English or stopping the spread of English never work. But I'd like to also add one point to what you were saying about Haq. I think there's another thing which has come in, which goes with Haq and which you mentioned in a way. But, in the old days, Hinglish was a joke. I remember vividly once when there was an officer of the British High Commission, and a friend of his said to him, "Please, why on earth don't you stop your secretary saying, when I pick up the phone, Saab is not on his seat," which was the English way of saying it. So what happened? He said this, and the next time he met his friend said, "For God's sake, tell him to say sitting on your seat." Because the last time I rang him up, he said, "He's not on his seat, he's in the lavatory." So there has been, I think, a sea change. I don't think English is a joke any longer. I think it is an important subject.
If we have mauled English words, Hindi words have been equally mauled by English. We've had juggernaut, kedgeree, all kinds of words taken into English, which were shampoo, words which were different sounding. There's a huge movement now, which there is a debate about it too, about changing the names of towns and cities, which were anglicized during colonial times and which are now being Thiruvananthapuram, which is a bigger tongue twister than Trivandrum maybe. But we've done wild things with each other's languages, and I think we should have the freedom to use them the way we feel comfortable about them.
But isn't this discussion about Hinglish or English a discussion of a very urban elite of India? What do those people who are beyond this 350, who don't have access to good teachers in classrooms, do they really need a foreign language in their classrooms? Don't they need to learn their own languages and be proficient at that before they come and understand and adapt and use a foreign language like English?
There has to be a policy out there, because I feel sad when suddenly after primary education or secondary education, the child has to go to a university where suddenly he was reading about Uttal lens and Avtal lens, and suddenly he has to go to a physics class where they're saying convex and concave lenses. He has never heard that in his life. So there is an unfair advantage the other guy has. He's now coping with English. He should be studying. He has an inferiority complex to begin with. That I do not first have to learn the language and also then learn the text. Now he's got two challenges. So I think there has to be uniformity in that. If it is local languages, then it has to be for everyone. You can't have few private schools running in English. If it is till 12th standard, you have to study in your mother tongue, that it has to be for everyone. It can't be for chosen few and rest of the people are. It's a very convenient thing to govern the country by few. You'll always rule because the language is politics. There is a huge hierarchy there. And let's not forget that English has unfair advantage. And that is the reason we need to protect our languages. When she was talking about Kumaoni language, I was told there are 26 words for smells, only smell. And we need to sort of save those things also. We don't have to throw the baby with the bathwater. We don't have to replace the old with the new. We have to make way for both. And there has to be a uniform policy out there. It's a much more serious question than just English and jokes. It is affecting people's lives. So many people are very talented, but can't cross the receptions of a multinational office because he doesn't have guts to speak and ask in English. He might be more talented. We are facing a huge talent crunch in an advertising industry, in film industry today. We don't have writers, we don't have, because those people cannot converse in English. When I say this abroad in other countries, they ask me, you must be having huge amount of talent in your country. I said, no, we have dearth of talent. We have dearth of writers, we have dearth of people who can crack ideas. But why? Because of the language politics. Let's face it.
Mark, do politicians, if they go around in their political speeches using a lot of Hinglish, will it work? Does it work now? Did it work earlier, say 10 years ago? And what's the difference? What's happening with the use of language to large crowds, to the people?